Hey everyone, thanks for joining. This is CryptoVatsik. Nothing of what you're about to see is considered financial advice. These are just my opinions. If you do like this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. I really appreciate it. Let's go. Okay guys, today we're going to cover technical analysis on GALA Games. And though this chart looks like shit and not much is available to us to really chart anything bullish, there is definitely key levels that we want to identify so that when the tides do shift, we're prepared for that. So this is the drawings that I've had from my previous video when we were sitting right here previously, okay? We were sitting right here, and so basically I had marked out macro demand down here that we had tested at 3 points at this point. Meanwhile, we had liquidity supply right above us that we had just been basically sweeping, okay? And so really ultimately it was just this battle between supply versus demand at the time. And the range that I was basically working with here was this guy. So we were basically playing around within this range, that key SR level, the EQ of the range, coming down, tapping the bottom band, which was demand, and then coming up, a couple swing failure patterns here, and then ultimately major resistance above in red. But nothing at the time, was convincing me of anything bullish. And what I wanted to see was I wanted to see this bounce, and I wanted to see this continue. Right, I wanted to see basically this break in market structure come up and start really testing supply, flip the EQ of this range, and then come up and start sweeping these highs up here. But we just didn't get that. You'll notice now when we go back to the current chart what happened. Right, really we lost demand right here with confidence. Okay, this is an impulsive move right here to the downside. If you just inverse it, looks like an impulsive move up. Right, breaking that level with severe confidence. And ultimately coming down, just having some bearish consolidation, another dump, okay, some brief bullish consolidation here, nice push up, nice short squeeze. That's all this is, right into previous demand, which is now our resistance, okay, wicked above, deviated, and ultimately just rejected, new lows, rejected, coming back down, right? So let's clean up the chart now and see what we're seeing today. So ultimately, when you see a chart like this, it's just dying out, right? You just see levels of support not being respected, and it's just meaning that there's just no confidence in the market, and people are capitulating and starting to sell their long-term bags. And every little dump, they get more and more nervous, and so it just dumps it further. And so you start to see that typically, into long-term bear markets. But there are some key levels here that I want to mark out. So first off, we've got this key area right there. Okay, so this was our previous support back here in October. Came up, wicked way below it, actually was able to close this candle above that level, and then came back down, lost it, rejected up here. Lost it here, and then rejected up here, okay? And then we just had this kind of tightening of the price action right here, ultimately our breakdown right here from that level to a new low. So that is definitely an area that I'm interested in watching right now. For a somewhat shorter time frame trade, you could potentially trade this diagonal, something like that. Possibly already a breakout. If you're a breakout trader, doesn't convince me though, but basically ultimately you'd be looking for a breakout of that, a reclaim of this origin of the breakdown, and then probably target supply up here. But ultimately, I'd be expecting us to come back down at some point again, just because the gap between here, right here, right? You see these moving averages, these exponential moving averages. The gap between here is quite large, right? And so there's just so much work to be done to really start tightening and flattening out with these exponential moving averages in comparison to the candlesticks. But you'll notice it's been really respecting this trend line on the way down, actually. Just continuous lower lows, and respecting that trend coming back down. So really wouldn't be surprised. Nothing here tells me this is bullish. I would expect, probably come back down, another tap in here on that trend line. Or you could play this guy right here. Bit of a descending wedge. Okay, so like I said, play the breakout of this. Maybe we chop around a bit more, deviate below, come back, break out, and then target up here, something like that. But you just got to wait for that confirmation. What I mean by that, what I mean by that is something like this. Okay, so let's go down to like the 6 hour here. The reason why I say you got to wait for confirmation and that this doesn't tell me we've broken anything, because we've got our swing high here. Okay, swing high over here, multiple wicks above, SFP within the wedge. It's just, there's nothing here to confirm a trend reversal or temporary trend reversal, right? So yeah, sure, we've got our low here. You'd say that's possibly support. Break that, probably come back down at the least down to here, okay? And so what I'd be looking for essentially on a break of market structure is you're looking for that first higher high, okay? So we've got lower high all the way down from these wicks, okay? We've got lower high, okay? Lower high, technically lower high, right? So there's just no confirmation yet. So essentially you'd be expecting something like this, okay? There's your lower high, okay? So you've got lower high and then lower high. What I'm looking for is a break, a higher high right here, okay? In comparison to this lower high. There's your higher high. You wait for a retest of that previous lower high, okay? And you wait for it to reclaim that level and confirm that it's going to respect this as support, and you enter on that retest of that level, okay? Or you can get down here if you're confident enough and you manage your risk appropriately, you know, further down here, sure. But ultimately, that's what I mean when you're waiting for confirmation and you want to enter a trade. And then you could ride this up, you know, you could ride this up, you could target that high, you could target this high, or you could ride it all the way up here. You take maybe, for instance, 70% off here, you know, another, you know, 20% here, and then 10% up here, kind of thing. You could do that to each their own, right? And you know, when you start to see charts that look like this, we're going to get, you know, short squeezes, right? You get short squeezes like this, like right back here, right here, we had it, right? So we had our lower high, okay, was not able to break it yet, deviated above, higher high, right there. Ultimately, retest right here, okay, retested that level, market structure, printed a higher high even, came back down, retested it again just to confirm, and then pumped 34%. So if you could recognize setups like this, you can get in and you can make serious cash, but you got to understand we're still in a bear market, and you likely didn't just buy the absolute bottom. So you got to understand that, you know, these are going to be short term, and so you'd probably target supply up here, previous support, now resistance, wicked all the way up to it, but you could have also taken profit in there, and lots of opportunity to do that. So that's what I mean when I say that. Now there's something else I want to bring to your attention is the bullish order block currently, right here. Order blocks are essentially areas that are confirmed blocks, candles of resistance or support, okay? And the criteria for one is basically the last down candle, if it's a bullish order block, last down candle invalidated by an up candle right here. So this candle was invalidated, this red candle invalidated by this close of this green candle. Okay, so you come up, and if you're just seeing this right now, you'd basically be looking at that order block. You'd be saying, okay, perfect. I'm waiting for a retest of this order block right here. And it doesn't mean it doesn't mean it has to just bounce right off of it, right? It could definitely come up and then come back down, deviate inside a bit, and then kind of come back up. But ultimately testing that range, right? That order block, filling up orders, taking up that liquidity to push up further, okay? And that's it. That's a perfect example of what's going on right now. Okay, so we had that perfect retest right in here. Let me just clean up the chart. Okay, perfect retest of this bullish order block right here. That's great, right? Perfect example. Question is this going to continue the trend? And right now, this is looking like an SFP swing failure pattern to me right now. So I would expect at least another tap of this order block to prove its effectiveness, okay? Moving down to the 1 hour, we've got this range, okay, from our swing high to our swing low, with ultimately current support being the range EQ right there, simply because we are above it. So same thing, guys, looking for that confirmation. Price is fractal, so you'll see price react the same on no matter what time frame you are. So again, we're on the 1 hour. Nothing convincing me yet of a bullish reversal here, right? So you're waiting for that market structure break, higher high, okay, right? So lower high, break, retest, and up, target the range high, and then the vice versa, right? Break a market structure to the downside, bearish retest up here, maybe a deviation above the upper band of this range, and then I'd go short, targeting the EQ again. But on a macro time frame, like a macro scale, I don't love, go back to the 12-hour, I don't love shorting down here, right? I mean, just look at this chart, right? Where do you want to be shorting? You know, up here, you know, maybe on the way down, you know, you want to be shorting up here, obviously, shorting up here, up here, up here, up here, maybe up here, but your R&R gets way less profitable down at these levels, in my opinion, right? Because the drops are just less volatility down here, right? Prices look, coins look like they're dying out. I'll go to the log chart here. We are way down there. So we've tested that area. We tested this area previously as support here, lost it. This is our previous area of accumulation that we had right here. Oh, shit. Accumulation right here. Okay, that led to the bull run. So that's a significant level for me. You know, I'd be carefully watching that level, that breakout here that we had. Okay, that breakout that led to the bull run, to the all-time high. Obviously, we got this level first to play around with, right? That we're now trading underneath. So really those key areas, and I think that if we can get above this level of 4.5 cents here, 4 cents, just over 4 cents, then that would be very bullish in my opinion. I think that that's, if you're confident in GALA long term, then there's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging in here. And if we lose it, that all-time low, essentially something like that, or the start of the listing of this coin really on Binance, it's R&R is really interesting down to these lows. But as I always say, this will take time, and really what I'm waiting for is that first impulse move after an accumulation zone, right? So we need to see time perspective of accumulation, okay? And there is such a thing as price capitulation and time capitulation, right? I think we're seeing a little bit of both of that, right? So we got price capitulation in these events here, okay, on high volume, right? Those are price capitulation events. And then there's such thing as time capitulation, which I think is just this overall steady downtrend, right? Just people capitulating over time, their long-term bags. Most people who entered on GALA, anywhere in this accumulation area, they're way down. They're down in their bags. So not every coin will recover. I do like GALA for the long term. I do have a bag, but we need to see this time accumulation and take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it to scale here. But I do think late 2023 is probably when we'll see that first impulse, right? So this is not an impulse here because it's just right off a low. The reversal is just a short squeeze, right? In my opinion. So my goal is to have this period of accumulation with a first impulse wave and then a retest, confirming that level, and then an area of reaccumulation. Okay, so you got your initial accumulation, smart money's getting it down low, where the maximum financial opportunity lives, reaccumulation, and then break of that huge level right up here, right? That huge level of support that we had, I think would be very, very bullish. Confluence back here with that low, very bullish in my opinion, but this is going to take some time. And I think that's what I'm looking for on GALA and a lot of other altcoins in general. Anyways, thanks so much for joining, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. You can also follow me on Twitter at CryptoVatsik for more frequent updates. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.